Good afternoon with your main newscast for today, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. My name is Josh Van Slegman. Let's get to the news in details. Local Government and Regional Development Minister Nigel Darmlall was arrested Monday evening when he showed up at the Brickdam police station for questioning in relation to the rape allegation leveled against him by a 16-year-old Indigenous girl. He was subsequently released on $1 million station bail. He had presented himself to the police in the company of his lawyer, Nigel Hughes. An official report was made to the police by the teen girl in the company of an officer from the Child Care and Protection Agency, calling for a fair and independent investigation to be conducted. Some members of the opposition and civil society on Monday held a protest action over the rape allegation leveled against Darmlall. The protest was held yesterday around noon in front of the minister's 4th Street Kingston office. Darmlall has since told President Irfan Ali that he will be proceeding on administrative leave to facilitate an investigation into the matter, but the protesters want him to be fired. On the other hand, the Amerindian People's Association said it is applaud and disgust at the allegations of sexual assault and the grooming of a child leveled against Darmlall and has called for unpaid investigations into the matter. The association stated that the issue of alleged sexual abuse of Indigenous women and girls by persons in position of power is not a new one. Also, the alleged perpetrators go to not have these horrific stories meet the stage of investigations is also known. According to the body, it is simply outrageous that President Ali, despite learning of the allegation against his minister, did not ask him to step down from the post, but rather allow the accused minister the opportunity to request administrative leave. In other news, financial details emerging from the multinational oil corporation operating in the country's largest oil basin, the Stabroek Block, has highlighted the lopsided nature of the contract signed by the government in 2016. According to the 2022 annual report from ESSO, the 26,800 square kilometers oil block raked in a gross revenue of $9.8 billion. From its gross revenue, ExxonMobil deducted a whopping $7.4 billion towards the recovery of its investment for the petroleum-related activities. The recovery of these costs is provided for in the production sharing agreement. The agreement stipulates that up to 75% of the total production from the contract area each month can be recovered. Costs not recovered in a particular month will be added to the next month's charge. Notably, after 75% of the costs are deducted to repay Exxon, the remaining 25% in the then share is then shared equally between the government and the oil company. This means that 12.5% of the revenue goes to Guyana, while the second 12.5% profit is shared with the company. Exxon is then required to pay the country 2% from its share towards royalty. The full details can be read in today's Kaieteur News. Over the past few years, the PPPC government has been in charge of managing Guyana's oil and gas sector, neglecting to update outdated oil laws until the present time when preparing for an auction of the oil blocks. This delay in modernizing the laws brings squarely into focus the government's governance approach, and as a decision to initiate the auction before addressing the laws is a clear cause of putting the cart before the horse. Guyana, as one of the most significant oil-producing countries of this decade, is managing its petroleum sector with laws that are 37 years old. The government plans to publish a draft of the updated laws on June 19th, with a debate on the amendments in Parliament expected to be placed before the conclusion of the auction. During the previous APNO AFC government's 5-year tenure, the oil sector was managed without implementing updated laws. When the People's Progressive Party Civic assumed office in 2020, unfortunately, updating the laws was not prioritized. Instead, the government approved 3 of oil projects, Payara, Yellowtail, and Uwara, which are estimated to cost Guyana over $31 billion. Together, these projects will significantly increase oil production by over 720,000 barrels per day. Furthermore, despite calls for the renegotiation to achieve fairer terms, the government rejected the calls to amend the lopsided Stabroek Block contract. And just before we head to a short break, amid the push for unlimited parent company from ExxonMobil, International financial analyst Tom Sanzillo has recently said that the American oil giant fights aggressively and pursues its interests in places where oil spills have occurred. Sanzillo's analysis is in light of the decision for ExxonMobil to put $2 billion in affiliate guarantee, while the appeal challenging the court order that Exxon must provide Guyana with an unlimited parent company guarantee came up for hearing of the merits of the appeal. In the meantime, the oil company is allowed to continue its day-to-day operation. He highlighted that when it comes to oil spill disaster, Exxon aggressively pursues its interests. To this end, he highlighted what happened in the 1990 New York Harbor oil spill involving Exxon. This is your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. We will return shortly after the break. Stay with us.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues, immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Father's Day and Sunday turned tragic for the family of Eon Hernandez after he was allegedly stabbed to death by his son. According to the police, they are currently investigating the death of a 47-year-old Hernandez of Seafield Sophia, Greater Georgetown, who was reportedly stabbed to death around 23 hours 30 by his 20-year-old son. Police said the deceased, who is a Venezuelan national, and his son, who allegedly suffers from a mental illness, had an argument over food that day. Investigators were told that the argument turned heated when the suspect reportedly armed himself with a knife and stabbed the victim to the back of his left thigh. The Ministry of Natural Resources released last evening the Petroleum Activities Bill for public consultation. The Petroleum Activities Bill replaces the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 1986. The ministry explained in a statement that the bill introduces significant improvements and safeguards related to safety, emergency response, cross-border utilization, supervision and monitoring requirements and authorities. The minister to prescribe regulation about key administrative and operational aspects of exploration and production activities. Further, the bill also expands the scope of the proposed act to regulate storage and pipeline transportation aspects of the oil and gas sector and empower the government to regularize in the future activities associated with geological storage of carbon dioxide. The draft bill is now available for public consultation feedback for a period of 2 weeks, commencing from Tuesday the 20th of June to Monday the 3rd of July 2023. Leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton, has not made contact with the citizens fighting for an unlimited parent company guarantee from ExxonMobil. In the event of an oil spill, this is so even as the leader has shown his support of the legal challenge filed by two Guyanese, Frederick Collins and Godfrey White, on May 4th. Norton told reporters he is ready to support the citizens in their quest all the way to the Caribbean Court of Justice. He did not offer specifics on whether his party is prepared to back the citizens financially or by affiliating its legal team to the group. Be that as it may, Norton still has not reached out despite his announcement more than 2 weeks ago. Stay with us. When we return your attention to the beat 7 of the Kaieteur News, dedicated to being blunt. Today's blunt is titled Opposition Protests. On Monday morning, several opposition members of parliament took to the street to protest the vile accusation of rape and sodomy leveled against the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal. The MPs did not waste the opportunity to put on a political show and demand that government minister step down from his post. They even called out President Irvin Ali for his lax approach on this matter. While the opposition should be commended for their efforts, we at Kaieteur News hope that the MPs would demonstrate a similar zeal when it comes to the injustices being meted out daily by ExxonMobil. Instead, the MPs have been sitting and biting their lips, except when asked to comment on matters. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast for today, Tuesday, June 20th, 2023. For these stories and much more, continue to listen to us here on Kaieteur Radio or head across to our website at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com or pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you for just $100 Ghana. My name is Joshua Van Slyke, on behalf of the news and the technical team. Have a great remainder to your Tuesday afternoon.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Welcome to the National Outlook on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. I'm GHK Lal on the National Outlook. It's Tuesday, June 20th. Last Monday, 2 Mondays ago, we had local government elections, and the results came out on Tuesday. The results came out on Tuesday. Both the PPP government and the PNC opposition, I call it the PNC opposition, I don't worry with the rest. Both of them said they claimed victory, and the PPP said we had a massive victory, and the opposition said it was a major rebuke. Its results were a major rebuke to the PPP. The first thing I want to say to you, my fellow Guyanese, is notice the energy and the passion of both major political parties in this country. When we talk about oil, the biggest thing in Guyana, the biggest thing that has ever happened to this country, the PPP via its oil chief, Dr. Jagdeo, he puts on a circus act. When we talk about oil and ask questions of the opposition leader, Mr. Norton, he has to do it his way, in his time, and however he decides to roll that out. These guys can't be serious, are they? We're not talking about garbage collection, as important as that is. We're not talking about some minor issue that affects a small handful of people, as important as that is too. We're talking about our oil patrimony, 11 billion barrels of oil equivalents and counting. And both of these parties can find a world of time, a world of energy, and the government could find a lot of money to spend on local government elections. You know why? Elections are about power, and power is about being near to the money. And when the money is there, plenty of money is there presently, there's a lot of thieving. I don't say thieving and stealing. There's a lot of thieving. We're talking Creolese here, thieving. So everybody understands what I'm saying. But most of the voters didn't turn out. Most of you listening here or reading the paper did not turn out. I've heard about 35%, which is 1 out of 3. I've heard closer to 40%, which is 2 out of 5 turned out, which means 3 out of 5 eligible voters did not go out and vote. I didn't vote. I am not voting again in my life. That should tell you where I stand with both parties. But I would like to see, this nation would like to see the same commitment, the same dedication that we saw for local government elections. They're out on Sundays. They're out late at night. I think I saw the president dancing up and down on a stage, and I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, this is what my president is doing for a local government edge, and he's doing it among what I take to be a lot of PNC supporters. So he's on the move to get them on his side. That's good. That's politics. But where's the president when I want him to talk about oil? Where's the president when we need truth about what is going on with this oil and what his government, our government, elected government, is going to do to get more for us so that we can have a better life? We can live comfortably. We can be people that the world talks about right now and ends up envying because we are really living the good life. We're not living it right now. We're talking about elections. Are we going to be waiting for 2025 for elections? And I have some news for you. You can get some money in 2025, and it's not going to be $25,000. Some money is going to be coming to you, and it's going to be in the six figures. They want your vote so they can continue feeding eggs on the white man to rob you and me. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1, 99.5 FM. Thank you for listening to the National Outlook.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo, 99.1 FM.
Berbice, 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.